me see if we got catnip. Okie doke. It's going. Cotton. Got to have a waste bin. How's it going, Rachel? Let's grab the mouse. Monitoring. That's pretty good. Cool. Alright. Alright. So we got some mini skellies for a bottle at some point. I don't know if it'll be tonight. We certainly have mini skellies for a bottle. Still can't believe that dollar store. Oh, we're gonna have all our stuff out on the 23rd. Oh, going on the 23rd, and it's not out. How's it going, Gareth? What's up, Ross? Alright. Samhain the cat. What are you doing, Furball? Let's get the glass out of here. So let's clear all the stuff. This goes over here. Oh, garbage bin. And extra bags for garbage. This was last night's garbage bin. Hey, Vegeta, how's it going? Just doing a little bit of crafting area cleanup before we work on the witch orb. And then back to the witch lantern prototype. We should have the witch orb edited by next week and have it out before I start school. That will be so nice. What's up, Trav? Woohoo! Do, 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 do. Cool. Alright. That's fine. Got more raw cotton, which we're going to need shortly. Alright. That, 2 saturation chambers. Yeah, I slept very late today, and kind of fighting the mopies this evening. I got up, went, took a shower, then I went out to raid the local Lowe's, which I heard had its Halloween stuff out. They had some of it out, so I enjoyed walking through there. I bought a doormat that said Happy Haunting. That was kind of cool in my style. The rest of the stuff, they didn't have too much out, but, you know, it's just nice to see the things. They got a couple of these giant skulls that I like. I just can't think of a spot that I would have them in the haunt. Yeah, an outro would be best, because my intros will always change. When I do a tutorial, I always believe that in the intro, especially for kind of episode 1, you should show the finished product. Because in these days of short attention span theater, what you really need to do is, if you're doing this is how you make a thing, you have to be able to show in the first 10 seconds, this is the thing we're making. Here you go. There's no illusions. This is the thing we're making. You don't need to wait till the last episode. Here it is, right here, right now. Want to make one of these? Yes, no, make your decision. If not, pick another video and bide your time. If yes, then this is the series. Oh my, alright. Can't have that in sand. Yeah. Yeah, that's why the very first witch bottle video has that picture right in the middle of the witch bottle, and after I go through my 30-40 second spiel there, you see me there with 4 or 5 witch bottles. So everybody can just hit, this is the project. Here it is. You see it right there, right then. There's no confuzzlation. And if people like what they see, well, that's what we're making. And if not, move on. Let's see how well this pair of dollar store headphones holds up. I have a pair in the other room, but I don't really feel like dragging them back and forth because that's the, $50 pair I got for the computer. These are leftover bits. I don't know if I'll do a paper mache skull anytime soon. Honestly, the skulls these days are so cheap. They're like $4, $5 a skull. If I do any kind of skull, I will spend the $12 to $15 on a resin skull, and I'll mount it, and then I'll do milk jug molds off of that for days. Because that's a high degree of reproducibility for low time and low cost. A mache skull will be alright. I'm just imagining it's gonna... Because I've seen Stalloween do mache skulls, and he starts with an orb, and then he either takes a cardboard or a cardstock cutout face on there, puts it on, then he maches around that. He gets a good product. I mean, I'm not knocking his stuff at all. It's amazing. I'm just thinking for pure industrial churn out, but maybe you don't want industrial churn out. I'm always so paranoid about weather. My God. Ugh. I would want to weatherproof the hell out of a paper mache skull. What's up, Joey? Sad to hear that your witch orb went kaboom. At least on the plus side, if your top half is dry, you can reinflate a balloon, blow it up right back into the form, and it should be back in good shape. Hopefully. these were twist widgets for the wormy bits on the witchwood. This is for that thing. I think I'm just gonna... I really want to just jam this remote in there. Yeah, can I? Can I do it? Yes, yes I can, thank God. It's finding that thing under all this stuff is getting me a pain. Okay, we gotta move the hot wire foam factory power source out of camera shot. We're gonna need the hot glue gun. Let's get that warmed up. Yeah, I wish there was a more reliable and definitive method for doing the orbs. That's why I double ballooned this one. Let's get that heating. Let's get this triple skull for the lantern section out of the shot. That's cardboard. Let's get the lantern thing out of the shot. This thing's garbage. Let's get this out of the shot. That's garbage. This is garbage. Alright, spare X-Acto blade. Don't want to lose that, schmooze that, or screw it up. Protuberances. Loop attachments. Saturation chambers. And make sure there's no wet spots for this stuff to get cooked up on. There we go. Secondary purpose, pumpkin wig. Nice. What's up, Angela? How's it going? Yep, well, a little later than I wanted to be tonight, but well, I slept in very late today. Not gonna lie. Alright, we should probably do the popping section first because everybody loves that. Masking tape. And we'll do popping, protuberances, and yeah. That. Alright, let's grab the secondary camera. Bring it in close. Get it all set up. That is wobbly. Why is that so wobbly? It shouldn't be that wobbly at all. Okay. Okay. Let's get that centered-ish. Let's get my ample gut out of the mainstream of the picture. How's it going, Tina? And balloon puncture. Let's get a couple extra glue sticks ready so we can look like we planned this out ahead of time. Put the caution on filming section out. Nice. Oh, a lot of those classic vehicles are so much better looking than the garbage we drive today. Alright. Do a little inspection. Looks good. Alright. Let's film the popping. Project is all dry from a good old night, and I hate to burst your balloon on a bad pun, but it's time to pop this thing. In order to do that, though, we do not just want to jab in and let this thing go pop, because we have all these tiny little bits of cotton in here that are ready to explode inward. And if this thing pops rapidly, there is a chance that all these tiny bits that are stuck to our balloon will want to come in with the balloon and cause a great bunch of snapping, and the stuff's going to go get pulled in with it. That is not what we want. So we need a controlled popping. In order to get a controlled popping, you need some tape of some sort. Masking tape, scotch tape, doesn't really matter what kind of tape you've got. But you want to cover some spot of the balloon with some tape. I also like to push the balloon down a little bit and start to free up some surface from the balloon. You're going to be doing this regularly as you go through and trying to push the balloon back from the cotton insides where it is stuck. Then take a handy popping protrusion and puncture it in the spot where you have the tape, and that balloon's going to start to lose air at a nice controlled slow speed. And now you just put your hands in there and pull it back from the fibers as it deflates. As it deflates. As it deflates. I'm pulling it back from the fibers. Pulling it back. Pulling it back. Some spots are not going to be into great control. You may want to reach in from the side, push it away from the fibers. You can also reach in, give it a tug. But you want a nice, slow deflate. Eventually you get to a point where the thing is pretty much freed from all the outer fibers. And you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy as that balloon loses it. It's always kind of the fun stage, too. Eventually, it will separate. Eventually. I think this is largely because I have the double layer balloon rather than a single. And once it's completely free, though, now you can pop it fully with no great issue or problem. You just don't want the explosive pop effect. And say farewell to your balloon. It has done its job. Hopefully yours has not gone kablooey on you. And you are left with the main outline of the witch orb and a curious cat who is going to investigate the balloon that I just dumped into the trash. However, you may find that you are left with all sorts of machined up pieces like this. In order to get this stuff out of there, grab an X-Acto or something and just kind of hack away at the extra mache between the fibers. You don't have to do this too extensively. Also, if you don't like it, you can just grab it with your fingers and pull it right off. It will all absorb stain, and it will all hold in place on the final project. Alright, and I should be in a fast forward segment now. Ooh, until very cool. I love walking through the tool shops or spots in any hardware store. I wonder if I should have people stain this on the balloon. Okay, for the most part, here is your witch orb. The outside of it at the very least. One thing to check on at this point, though, is to reach inside with your finger and make sure that the cotton in there is dry all the way around and through. You may occasionally find that some of this stuff in here has gotten a little damp and has stayed that way, whether you wanted it to or not. I also notice on this one, it looks like I've got a few spots of mold on the inside. I'm really not terribly concerned about that at all, since once this is all set, stained, and locked, it really won't matter at all, because this will be urethaned over. No mold will have a chance to grow again in the dryness. Next stage, though, is going to be adding on our protuberances, starting with the rings that we have for whatever we choose to loop this through on the top. You might find that these still have a little bit of give to them with the wire inside if you don't like how they are shaped and formed. But now we've got to get them on. Since I use 3, I try to find 3 relatively equidistant spots on the top that I think will be good for my rope. The other thing I find is that very often these pieces will find niches inside the witchwood, wormwood stuff here, the wormies, to fit in, almost like a puzzle piece. If you've ever done rock stacking, it's almost like that. You'll kind of feel a little spot where it feels like it clicks on and works. So I kind of just lay them in there and try to feel for where they will fit best. On this one I've already found a couple, but I've pasted around looking for others. But once you find a spot that you like, I haven't found a spot I like completely yet. I don't want to drop it on the floor. I'm going to go with this one first. Well, suffice to say, I'm going to get this going. When I find where it links up the best, then I'll show you the next step. That's a pretty good spot. This piece here is going on to the top right here. In order to do this, judge how you're going to link it in and on. Hopefully your orb is not squirming around quite as much as mine is. Grab some hot glue. Hot glue your piece all along the edge that's going to make contact with the orb. And mash that sucker on. And give that hot glue time to cool. When I first did this, I tried taking hot glue and really just filling in all the gaps. You don't want to do that too excessively, because later on you take a little bit more cotton and you have to cover this up, because hot glue won't absorb the stain terribly well. So you don't want a ton of exposed hot glue. Alright, this one being here means my other ones have to be at opposed angles to it. Just going to bend this a little bit because that wire in there is still going to give me some play and give. That'll be fine. It really helps if you can do this right the first time. So double, triple check your piece, quadruple check your piece before you add that hot glue and lock it in. So much easier to just do once. Believe me, I've done it several times before. It stinks. And my last one has to be over here somewhere. If you want to save yourself time and effort, you could make a single loop that was much larger and just put that squarely on the top, and then you're only hanging by a single thread. Bear in mind though, that means the entire weight of your project is hanging by one single hot glued on piece with probably a significant amount of cotton reinforcement, since that's the next step. So distribute your weight accordingly. Don't leave it to chance. Nope, I think I completely botched that up. Nope, I only half botched it up. That's fine. Cool. There's my 3 loops attached. I am going to look for any kind of seams between the orb and the loop. And anywhere I can get the snout of my hot glue gun in there and put some low profile hot glue reinforcement, I'm going to do that. I don't want big globs of glue, but I do want a very, very, very strong bond between the orb and the loops, since these guys are going to be load-bearing structures. You will get the traditional hot glue frizzy, strandy bits, and you can obviously clear those away later. go. So those are mostly locked in place. Those being set and done, now, if you want protuberances on your orb, it's time to put those in place. And I have here 5 protuberances. 6 protuberances. And they are virtually the same story. You're trying to find spots on your orb that kind of interlock with how and where you want your protuberance. You add hot glue to the protuberance spot that's going to connect with your orb. Then you're going to stick it on and let it cool. Bear in mind, this may cause trouble with the object you're resting your orb on. So just beware. But it is the exact same process. Let me see if I can do a good one for a demo here that won't completely stink. Let's do it off the top. I will try to find a spot that I think interlocks with it tolerably well. There we go. Hot glue the spot on your protuberance that's going to connect with the orb. And mash that into the connecting spot. And give that glue enough time to cool down. And lock it in place. And I have the first protuberance sticking off of this orb. If you find that you have a protuberance that does not want to match up or lock in with any spot, and it's driving you to distraction, feel free to take a good pair of scissors out and start snipping away bits of that cotton, especially around odd edges. Like this one came to a point that was just huge. So I just gave it a quick trim to give it a better chance of finding an interlocking edge somewhere else on the project. And I just found a spot where that'll fit. And again, protuberances are entirely optional. Sometimes they can be quite a pain in the posterior because they do make your project difficult to stack and not play nicely with trick-or-treaters' eyes who are walking near them. So use protrusions responsibly. I really like that detail under there, though. I want to mask it. How about under there, though? Ooh, that's nice. I like that. this one a good bend. This one here I am quite literally mashing into the project to try to find the optimal bending ratio for the wire inside. And thinking I just found it, glue and apply. This one's a tricky place. I like that, but I also don't like that. Guess we're doing it though. And there is the witch orb with protrusions sticking out every which way. If you hate your protrusions, just give them a little bend. They will flex. They will go whichever way you want. They are not completely fixed. They are not strong enough to be utterly, completely locked in their shape. So you still have plenty of control over them if you do not like their look. I'm not 100% on some of these, but I'm definitely in a good enough. That's enough to give this a good old thorny, witchy, branchy look. So I am pleased enough. Plus, I can still put it in its holder, and the branches are not so extreme that it's completely fallen all over the place. At this point, though, now we've got a whole bunch of stuff which may or may not blend into the orb proper, and likely as not, we've got some hot glue on there that will not take up stain very well. I'm also not fully convinced that the hot glue alone will handle extreme weights. If you have this outside, the hot glue alone will probably hit some UV, start to break down. In a couple of years from now, you're going to find that these little protuberances are going to start to break off. So I take another step, and I'm going to take a little bit more cotton with some goobers, and I am going to really unify this design. I'm going to have my kind of case and point piece be this one right here. This is hot glued in place, but I'm not hugely thrilled about it. This connection is okay. It's not great. If I stain this stain is not going to take up very well. UV rays will hit that. This glue will break down. Also with heating and cooling in the garage over summer-winter cycles, and this thing is going to drop off if I don't do something about it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take more cotton pieces, goober them up in some mache paste, and I'm going to layer it over this, and I'm going to add witchwood over this whole mess and blend these two together, which will lock this into a single unified front, which the hot glue is just kind of serving as a temporary weld to keep there. And we're really going to lock this up. This is the exact same method used on the witch bottle to just add strips of moistened, mache moistened cotton over this stuff to make it look more witchwoody and rooty. I'm just going to do it between these two pieces to unify the design and have them locked together by macheted cotton. Okay, let's make sure this is in the middle of the camera. There we go. So what I've done here is I've just gone through and I've taken extra macheted cotton and gone all around that joint. I've completely covered up the hot glue junction, and when this dries, which should be rather quick because this is not a huge ton of cotton, this is going to be completely covered and these two are going to be unified. If I was at all paranoid about it, which I'm kind of paranoid about it, all I need to do is just dribble a little bit more mache paste onto this cotton I've just put on, and it's going to have the old cotton slightly remoisten. Bonds are going to form between them, and this whole new protuberance here is going to just become a part of the pre-existing witch orb. I'm going to repeat this procedure with every one of the bits I have just done, including the bits where this is all unified with the loops on the top. And I'll show you the end results once that's all set. Now it's time for some super fast motion time. I would not wish 100 orbs on anybody. Not unless you had a large manufacturing firm. Then I'd make about 6 or 8 of them, take one hell of a 3-dimensional mold, and get the machines a-hopping. I'm not afraid. You will be. You will be. There we go. Alright. Alexa, play Dance with the Dead. No. Alexa, volume 4. Ooh, Alexa, volume 3. All right. Then the next project will come out, and he'll really have to get more work done. Take care, Elvish Mist. Have a good one. Sorry I wasn't more chatting. The idols of recording have their demands. Fortunately, I have some fast forward time now. God damn, I love Dance with the Dead. Yeah, I'm a little bit on an early side / late side for me today. Wish YouTube didn't give me such a hard time about playing their music. is tipsy as hell. I'll never get the sand out of here if I use it. If I don't use it, never stop falling. It sometimes helps to put a little bit of sand or weight in the bottom of your container to stop your project from tipping over. Just make sure it's not filled with incense ash. Concrete is as concrete does. Life is like a bowl of concrete. Ross, we were waiting for you to actually tell the joke. Just say it, man. Here are those other elements incorporated into the design a little bit more with just an extra cotton covering them over. No visible hot glue. Hot glue can't soak up UV, and even if it heat expands and contracts over future years, winters, and whatnot, it'll still remain a part of the design. Let's see here. And the strength that's holding these parts to your witch orb should not be lost. With luck. Now, you might find that depending on how your protuberances are set, you might want to let your ones on the top that have been reintegrated dry before you start to work on the ones on the bottom. And because mine are that way, I don't really want to have it flipped this way and have my work on the top get dented and creased while I'm waiting. So I am going to stop at this point for a little bit, let these top designs dry, and then I'm going to start work on integrating my bottom designs as well. I don't have to work as hard on these because, quite frankly, these are around the bottom. The only thing I want to do for these is just get the cotton layered on. In fact, the more I think about that, I am just kind of going to layer cotton on top of this. I'm not going to do heavy work because, again, this is all on the bottom of the project, and it is not the most visible and viewed part. So top stuff, make it blend. Bottom stuff, if it's like this and in this area here and already in kind of the shadow zone of the project, don't sweat it too much. Just give it a covering for strength. I will probably actually just hold this thing and do that now because, yeah. All right, never mind. Meow. What's up, Mr. Meow? Meow. Hi, Sam. Good boy. Alright. Problem is, I can't work with two hands to get the right size pieces and do this at the same time. So let's get these pieces ready first. Hmm. Kinda can't wait to be done filming this. More of these. Yeah, the orb's going alright. Problem is we're filming for the tutorial, so I'm talk limited. Fortunately, we're in a fast forward section right now, so. But even still. Yeah. Yeah, balloons and possibly beach balls. We'll see. I'm just glad that we're reaching the end of the tutorial for these. Okay. There is these incorporated more or less into the design, but again, they just need enough of a covering so that we've got that hot glue covered up and carried away. At this point, I'm going to let this go ahead and dry again some more. And then start the final phases of stain. Stain's amazing. I love doing the staining phase. It really brings it to life. And then some urethane. And then we'll add the polyfoam, light source, string it up. Meow. What's up, Mr. Meow? More stuff. Alright, well this can dry now. Let's hope those protuberances don't all get in the way. And we can think about lantern for a while. Best dollar I've spent in a while. Alright. So what are the plans here? Should probably get the paper clay out and set up like a full paper clay base for this. It's all dry on the inside now because I've had the fan on it all night. Yeah, let's get that paper clay out. Alexa, pause. That's a good track. Meow, Sam. Sammy Bear. Gonna help with paper clay, Sam? Huh. How much can I do with paper clay? I should probably put the paper clay down on something it will stick to. Yuck. Bollocks. But I want to pry it off of. No. Oh, you're fine, Fuzzy Bear. You're a good boy and you're okay. We played with the ribbon earlier. We'll play with the ribbon again later. Probably wants the laser. The laser addict. My cat. Woo! Oh yeah. That is cheap root beer, all right. Very cheap root beer. All right. That's the paper clay that we use for the monster bottle. And the aluminum foil is in the other room box. Fortunately, no, we are not subbing that. Pardon, I'm going to grab some aluminum foil because I don't want this stuff floating all over the place. Come on, Furball. Well, Samhain's already been on film. Majesty's a little tough to scoop with one hand. She's a big cat. But Samhain has definitely been on before. Problem with getting them on camera. Damn it, I moved the trash thing again. Sam's always saying hi. Back to you guys. Every time he meows. Madge is a little tougher just because she's large. And also, I don't want them getting in the habit of being okay with hopping up on the craft table. So normally if I want to get them on camera, I kind of have to grab them, then swivel the camera over on me where I am holding them. And at the moment, the camera spot is being occupied by root beer return. The tutorial filming camera. And as soon as the tutorial is fully filmed, I will, get you guys back down in your rightful place and get that moved, because I would much rather have you guys on the tripod than on top of the fridge, which is where you are now. Because you can see a lot more from the tripod than you can from the top of the fridge. So, let's get this. First, let's get that away from that bag. Let's get this. Let's get this a couple of things. I may not be able to do as much with the clay as I wanted to tonight. I want to do this with this clay before this clay goes bad. Which, we're pretty safe yet, but nothing worse than opening up your clay and finding a mold factory. First thing I want to do with this clay is get these skulls completely locked together. And that will be very easy to do. So I know I've got a few more sculpting tools over here. Sculpting tool, I can get a little bit more shoved in with the clay. That will bond the styrofoam. All hold together magnificently. In fact, let's do that here, a little more shoving. We got our round of thunderstorms a couple of days ago. It was non-stop rain here for about a week, which, quite frankly, I kind of miss. I have very much an Addams Family mentality when it comes to the weather. Alright, Alexa, resume. Okay, so that's the bottom and set. And this. Alright, I want want this to not fall over. I kind of want some light to dribble out through the witchwood. All these skulls are going to be witchwooded. Some shape paste, so it's fine. I suppose I could secure the whole bottom thing. I'll have to go in through the top anyway to do the panels. $100 balloons blown up. Oh, tell me you didn't blow them up beforehand. I mean, they don't lose air fast, but I don't think 100 balloons would hold air long enough to do witch orbs that long. Don't rush it. Remember Miracle Max from Princess Bride. Never rush a miracle, kid. Do that, get rotten miracles. Clay sections all in there. Should be able to rest that bottle on there. Should stay even with slight adjustments. This is fairly universally round. God damn, I love this track. Yes. Hey, Fuzzface. What are you Fuzzy bear. All right. I'll handle that. Now, there's no way I'm leaving the bottom of this as styrofoam. No way in hell. Should I just add more hot glue to the bottom, or should I use paper clay? Sam, what do you think? No. Do I dare to just lock this in place now? That'll be a lot of fun if I lock this in place now. Sam, should I lock this in place now? It'd be kind of a pain to get the panels in. I can't make the panels until I go to work anyway. I agree with you. I'll screw it up on the bottom because that paint's got to be in there. I mean, we have to paint it by hand. Oh, like a bent paintbrush. Not looking forward to that prospect. We could add some bulk. I do like that prospect. That way the witchwood isn't just flat against it. Hey, give me some paste. I really don't want the witchwood to be flat against this stuff. So this means that once this is set, I'm on drying time. I'm going to wait for the witch orb to dry. I gotta wait for this to dry, and I have to wait for this to dry. Guess I'll be watching the 6th Harry Potter faster than I thought tonight. Ooh, that's going to get heavy. I love Siberian Huskies. Lovely dogs. Huskies in general are such a pretty breed. One breed I've always wanted to see is the Chow. Little bear dogs. Oh, nice. Wow. So Samhain. Ribbon later. If I had the laser, well, laser's right there, but my hands are all covered in clay. Besides, you don't really chase the laser. You like to watch the laser, you little fuzzball. Ah, the dog size disparity. It's really bad if the 3-pound Chihuahua rides the Great Dane. This is going to take some drying time. Alright, this does not have to be perfect. This is just bulk. That's right, the bottom's here. Probably not the same thing at the top. Paper clay. Yep, coverage is better than bulk everywhere. There we go. Nice. Yeah, every dog breed has its detractors. Asian chows that I like are fiercely territorial and familial. Thank God I just love a cat who thinks that a shopping bag is a deadly enemy. Get that bag, Sam. You kick its ass. Yeah. Show that Aldi's bag. Show who's boss. Yeah. Don't take any crap from that Aldi's bag. Oh, dear. good track. Kind of reminds me of drawing out a piece of iron in a blacksmith's forge. I have a feeling I will like this a whole lot better if I clay out the panels more completely. Just working on the old witch lantern, tinkering with concepts. Just decided I'd like this a whole lot better if the whole thing was paper clayed. I have the paper clay to spare right now. Don't have any other projects that need it. May as well make sure this thing is sturdy as heck. I agree, Sam. Claying this whole thing in would be, even if it's not a smart move, just a good way to go. We're going to do the whole thing up in witch wood anyway. Cat saying, "Are you done with all this sitting and paper claying? And listening to Dance with the Dead?" Not a good track. Thought about putting a faux shutter on this thing, but I don't think I will now. There's really no point. It's going to be all witch-wooded in the end anyway. Oh. Unfortunately, that is bending away. That's not good. Shoot. Well, let's hope as moisture seeps out, that reestablishes itself. If not, I'll slip some glue under there and mush it back down. Yep, Sam is a he. Samhain the cat. Majesty is my female, and she generally doesn't give a f. Oh no, cardboard's still the basis of this. I'm just paper claying over it. Because I've got the paper clay, and I was figuring the paper clay would give me some added bulk. And a three-dimensional layer that just wouldn't be there otherwise. Plus, I've got this paper clay. It's going to go bad in another, couple days. So, why not use it up? Yep, I'm a two-cat dead. Samhain and Majesty. One cat for fun, and one cat to piss off people who like to say the correct pronunciation is Salin, which it is, but Samhain is so much more fun to say. A little bit of witchwood will cover the panel sections, but more decoratively than actually, there. The whole point of doing the lantern is to have cool carved panels. So I will go to my work and find some nifty printouts and print them out. And they will be the proper panels that I put in there. Suffice to say, the order is going to be paint white inside the sections there to white out the internals of this thing. Then take whatever nifty panels, ravens, trees, pumpkins, witches, whatever panel sections, print them out, cut them out with an X-Acto or scissors or both, and then glue those to the inside. Then mount the whole set of lights and everything, so it's a sexy looking paneled lantern. Oh, wow. What's up, Furball? What are you doing? We're filming. We're not filming. I see you licking your chops. You're thinking it's treat time. I know that look. That's the... Yeah, it sure would be nice to have a treat right now. Don't mess with the camera. We've been over this. No tripod messing. for ref. Fine. I have dropped my piece. It's a laser! Sam, how did a laser get in here? Oh my god. Sam, can you defend me from the laser? Careful, it's quick. You have to move faster than that. Oh. Oh. Do silhouettes of whatever you want. I'm just looking at all the Halloween lanterns that you can get commercially. They're usually the square lanterns. They're made out of metal. They have orange plastic internal sections, and usually the flickering tea light inside that looks like a candle. Often 3 AAAs, 2 AA's kind of power source. I own 2 of them. They got some nice panels. You can get them for about $8. The problem with this project is you kind of have to beat that in quality for a comparable price. Fortunately, the puck lights are only, $4 a piece or less, depending on what you get them for. Better get it this time, Sam. Woo! You got it. Good job. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fact that if I buy this house, I can open up the whole lower floor to my fur balls, because they are indoor kitties. And this apartment is big enough for them, but I would like them to have more space to roam. I would also really like to build them an outdoor area. Get some 4x4s and some chicken wire, some 2x4s, and build them an outdoor enclosure. Get them outside. But I don't want them getting pancaked by a car, so. Part of this is paranoia, because where I grew up, it was a dead-end dirt road in the middle of nowhere, and we had cats. None of those cats died of old age. It was all local predators that got them. So even though I am more in town now, I am very determined that that fate shall not befall my furballs. I will love them and pet them and stroke them and squeeze them and call them George. There we go. We can witch wood over the paper clay. Let's just give it some. Let's give the paper clay some unevenness, though. Hollow. That's in the middle. Yep. Nice unevenness. I really don't like how it's pulled away from the plastic. But again, I can get some glue in there and just shove that on. Hold it down after it dries. Oh, missed a spot. Good catch. The cardboard is pulling away from the bottle. Let's see, based on your angle, you may be able to see it from here. This piece here is pulling away from the bottle. Yeah. So it's a strip of cardboard that the paper clay is resting on. I'm not worried because it's not so far away that I can't just, throw some glue on it and then rest it on that surface overnight and it'll stick right back on. So it's a no sweat kind of thing, but mildly annoying. I'm just going to cram some paper clay in here where the hot glue worked this thing to. Righteous tunes tonight. Very righteous tunes. Just got to remember to give it some extra drying time because paper clay does not dry through plastic. Of course, we'll have a fan on it too, so. Yep, the hot glue did distend the plastic. Fortunately, I was very fastidious in my application, so the melting was uniform and came out just fine. Yeah, it's nice when you can take, older broken stuff and turn it into something that you made that is precisely how you want it to be. I mean, this project is more or less a, yeah, what the hell, why not? Yep, I should have used a low temp hot glue gun, but I didn't. But we recouped, so what the hell. I did lay this clay on a little thick, though. Though tomorrow night I am playing Dragonfire with some friends. That's liable to go till about 9 p.m. So if I'm not on, that's why. Reminds me, I want to put on my list. I want to try making some accessories for my ghoul brigade. Oh no, I could have gotten 5 cents for this bottle. Yep. Some local gaming compatriots. Or quasi-local, at least. A couple of them are driving in from out of town. It's like Dungeons and Dragons in a card game. I'm not completely sold on it, to be honest with you, but I do enjoy having people to talk and play games with, so that aspect, at the very least, I am all for. This didn't do too bad for weight. Precisely. Now, socialization is one of my great nightmares. Yep. I live in an area that is very, very, very tractor pulls and get drunk and go to the bar and country music and that. So that is not really my general scene. Consequently, I don't find that I have an easy time meeting people that I care to continually associate with. And that might make me sound snobbish, because I am. But that's my problem, so. Central New York State. It's definitely not a bad town to be in. It's quite a nice place, actually. Housing is comparatively cheap. The area is a little bit impoverished, but the people are fairly stand-up, you know? Salt of the earth folks. like that, but I want to have coverage. There we go. But then again, I'm a bit of a weirdo, so there's no perfect place for a person like me. Always be a bit odd. Then again, in more urban areas, you just tend to find more haunters in general. Haunters, Skadians, and gamers. My preferred crowd. I think Carla's just the only one talking, Rachel. Haunter. Haunter. People who haunt. Halloweenophiles. You know, the autumn people. Where do they come from? The dust. Where do they go to? The grave. I haven't read Something Wicked This Way Comes for a long time. Yeah, 12:44 a.m. here. Regrettably, I am running out of things to do that don't require drying time. That bottle is going to need time to dry. That skull assortment needs time to dry. The orb needs time to dry. Not a lot of time to dry, but I don't want to... I mean, the next step is staining, so... No. Whoop. But we unplugged the hot glue gun, which is resting on the plate. Drying. I gotta make a witch bottle with these mini skeletons. I think I'm gonna give that dollar store like another good day. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go down there tomorrow because I'm freaking weak. They said they'd have their stuff out, but they didn't have their stuff out. So we're going to find a way to take these mini skeletons and encase them in witchwood on the side of a witch bottle. Or at least one mini skeleton, maybe two. Definitely not all four, because that's just ghoulish overkill. Yeah. 12:46. How posable are these guys? Ooh, not very. We're going to have to break some arms off. That's okay. It's funny. The legs move like crazy. The arms, not so much. The clavicles are huge. Damn. That's what hot glue is for, though. Their heads twist a little bit. We're going to have to cut the tops off, though. They've got these ridiculous hangers. Oh, because they call it skeleton garland, right? Garland. I could do a tree out of it or something like that. How are you doing, Emily? Yeah, been a bit. We're kind of wrapping up a little bit here. I'm just pondering what more doing can be done this evening. Been working on a witch lantern. Filmed up the last phases of the orb before staining. Can't wait to get that thing stained. Put some paper clay on this lantern. Hopefully this thing will only take one night of drying. Getting the inside painted is going to be a friggin' bear. Don't we all wish we could fix our bones with hot glue? Be like, knees, back, okay. Squirt, squirt, done. And now they function again. Alright. On my stuff to do list. Oh, that's the panel lantern. Where's the stuff to do list? Witch bottle. Ingredients. Orb. FAQs. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, this is it. Yeah, this is the stuff to do. The panel lantern was just first, and I thought it was the thing on the lantern. There's the pen. Ah, pen, look over the clipboard. Ah. Alright. It's just kind of regular stuff tonight, Emily. It'll all be on the tubes of views eventually. Alright, accessories for the Ghoul Crew. Let's see here. Don won't want anything because he's happy with his skull mask and his tabard. Brian gets the pumpkin mask. What would Brian want? I should ask Brian tomorrow. What would he want? Oh, we gotta get like some bone pendants. I've got that grapevine. I wanted to do something with that grapevine for a while. Right. Don't hit anything. How thick is that grapevine? I don't really want my scarers to have I don't want to have them carry around anything. We don't have like a dry ice dispenser or anything like that yet. I got the little skeleton in the dollar store. Yep. Hi, Sam. Oh, good boy. No, look at you, Snaggletooth. Oh, you're behaving. Good boy. What a nice cat. I might just order that stuff. The lights were the problem element. The lights were the expensive problem element. The test tube was easy. I should get JB Weld. My crew stalks around the haunt. They all have pretty much free reign. If there's a gurgling noise, it is probably the refrigerator. Sorry, it just snapped on. So if you're hearing it emanating up through the fridge into the camera, kind of similar to bone induction. I think I may order that stuff from Amazon and make a couple of soul catchers. Yeah, fridge will click off in a second, it'll stop. And as soon as we're done filming tutorials, you guys will be back on the tripod, and you won't have to worry about that crud again. Right, cat? Okay. What else could they have? Zach last year just kind of stalked around. I don't know if he'll be back this year. His girlfriend kind of owns his soul. She may not let him come back to the haunt. We should have Frankie this year, though, because Brian will drag her down. All right, good. My theme is burlap and dread. That's the general theme. No movie monsters allowed. None of that made-up crud to break the scene. This year we're going a little bit more magic-y because we're introducing which bottles and which orbs. I kind of wish there was a way to make a horrible looking amulet that could disguise a very powerful black light emitter. That way I could have stuff in invisible black light paint throughout the haunt, and my characters could roam around and activate their amulets at will and make things hidden in the scene, like crazy runes and shapes and symbols and messages, appear. But that requires a lot more painting time, a lot more paint than I've got. If I'm buying this house, a lot of my savings are going to go up in smoke, and lawyers' fees and closing costs. Samhain, what do you think? I thought about doing an idea that's effectively a large, it's like a big test tube, and it's got a light on the inside pointing down. The outside is done up in witchwood, and it's a glowing test tube kind of thing, suspended from a burlap twine necklace, and just kind of glowing from a neck suspension. I thought about doing that. That wouldn't be too hard to do, because I found out that hot glue will actually float on top of water. So I could fill up the test tube with water and glycol, dump a whole bunch of hot glue on, make an interstitial zone at the top that would have the light in it, point the light down, because they make these tiny little lights. They put them in balloons that would go mostly all night, God I hope. But it would be one color. It would be like green or blue. So, thought about doing that. I still don't know how much scare that would bring. Because it's creepier, actually, if you've got a full dark character approaching you. Yeah. Though now I'm also kind of wondering. One of the troubles that you occasionally have in my haunt is that it's too dark. I wonder if it would be possible to make a shadowed light source for around a wrist that would beam back on this character. So when they went into their rawr pose, it would beam back on them and illuminate them. I don't know if that would be worth a flying flip or even possible. Because it would only really work for hands out. And your gloves would flare out stupidly to hide those things. Yeah, that would be the other problem. How big a light source, though? Because if you used a single LED, or even maybe 4 or 5 LEDs, easy to mask, easy to power, but your light source wouldn't be terribly diffuse, and you'd want that to really spread out. If you used a red, it probably wouldn't illuminate the character enough. You could use a green. I don't know. Yeah, then I'd have to disassemble the flashlight. And they have that harsh white light to them. As much as I want to spend an hour over a circuit board pulling all the lights out of it. I don't know if that would be worth it. I'm looking for simple things that could enhance the scare of my haunt. I don't know if individual character lighting would help. I still kind of like that idea of the hanging necklace with the lamp in it, kind of like a captured soul. I always need more volunteers. More volunteers! Yeah, I've got actually a bunch of gels, but I don't want my characters brandishing a flashlight. That just kills the mystique. Everything should be otherworldly. Should all be otherworldly. I could conceivably get a regular size skull, get a couple of bright flashlights like those, wire it into the skull, get 2 pieces of PVC, mount them in there, slide them in the tubes, Mickey the switches so they activate with a single switch press somewhere, put witchwood on it, throw a couple of green gels over the eyes and give them just a hold up a skull, click, and death beam of green. That could be kind of cool. Yep, fridge turned off. Glow sticks don't give you enough light. You need to really... It's got to be... I'm going to toy with that idea. Death beam skull. Death Beam Witchwood Skull. Ooh, pardon. That could be a fun accessory, and it could hang on like an over-the-shoulder sling. That could be really, really, really easy. Coben. I don't know what a Coben is. Hey, Gift Boutique, how we doing? Hi, Cat. Look at you down there. Hi. Wow, good boy. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, let's experiment with the concept of the Death Beam Witchwood Skull. Because that switch should be pretty easy to Mickey. It's usually in the back of those little dollar flashlights. I could rig that real easy. Real easy. Cohesive bandage. Yeah, still don't know. That one. I got some of that material that they used to make casts with. Interesting. Oh, yeah, okay, that stuff. Gotcha. We'll look at accessories. The Witchwood Crew, the Ghoul Crew. A Death Beam Witchwood Skull. That could be really easy, just be like, here, beam this at people. Yeah. The switch is in the back, or the switch is in the front. Switch is by the eye. It's hidden in the Witchwood. Click here. That could be really, really easy and fun. I have to see, like, what's the easiest way to hold the skull and focus the beam. And then make it nice and ergonomic. And those styrofoam skulls, $5, $7. I've got a bunch of skulls too. I gotta pester Don when he comes down for October. I'm like, remember those 3 skulls you borrowed for that thing you never made? Yeah, bring those back. I'm gonna use them. Maybe I'll bring my black cat, huh? You can creep around scaring the kids, Sam. Alright, Death Beam Witchwood Skull. That'd be pretty easy. Any other accessories for the Ghoul Crew? I can't use the pyrotechnics anymore. I got 6 smoke bombs. They just need a little bit of ignition fuel. That'd be easy. I could make some more smoke bombs for this year. That wouldn't be too hard. I'd probably kill a kid or two, but I could make more smoke bombs. Oh, which would that's the little Death Beam skull. Absolutely. That would get witchwooded. Only potential problem on a project of that thing would be if it would be a styrofoam skull, it could get banged up. My scarers are pretty good, though. I don't think that would be a huge issue. Unless I just get some plastic skulls. They're all over the place. They had some really crappy ones at Lowe's, though, today, man. I was looking at them, they're like, hey, skull, $5.99. I'm like, that is the crappiest skull I have ever seen for $5.99. I wouldn't give you $4 for that skull. There are dollar store skulls that I've seen that are better than those. They had, like, no paint on them. They were, like, chalk white. Just like, ugh. Awful. I wouldn't mind getting some bone charms for my Ghoul Crew. I could do that too, but I don't want to be telling my ghoul crew, here's the staff. Use the staff. I want something that they can walk around freely, and if they want to use it, it's at their hip. Boom, right there. You know. Otherwise, it's almost too much like, homework. Here, use this. I don't want to use that. Use this! Use the staff! No! Morning, Lucia. How's it going? We're talking scare ideas for this year's Ghoul Crew. Whereas if I give them that skull, it's just like, here, throw this over your shoulder, use it or don't. Don't care. It's a tool in your arsenal. I think I'd throw red lights in the eyes of that skull. I mean, I like green, but that would be the most haunt effective. A couple of reds. Alright. Bone charms. I'd like to research bone charms. There's got to be a way to make those more effective. I want to just hang a bone. I want it to look like, Blair Witch style kind of sticks and bone thing that looks neat and congruous. Pardon. I wouldn't mind if it had a little glow to it, but a bone charm really should not have a lot of glow. That shouldn't be like LED light kind of thing. Too much glow and you stop looking spectral, you start looking like Tron. My haunt is spectral, not Tron. Speaking of which, oh, that's right. I don't have to worry about that. You guys are on top of the fridge. You don't know that, camera. Is that the box of... This doesn't seem like the right box. That's because it's not. It's a box of puck lights. Let's label that before I forget I have them. Puck lights. Especially so I don't order way too many puck lights. I got 8 more coming. Those about to fall over. This is Tom Shines. This box is empty, so let's get it in the garbage. Nope, let's use it to surprise the cat. Nope. Last Witch Hunter is a very good movie. Effect-wise. Very simplistic plot-wise, but I kind of liked that. I enjoyed it. Glow rock pebbles. I wanted to take 2 of these out, leave them in the sun, and then see what kind of glow I get from these. there's 3 puck lights. Damn it. Knew that was going to happen. Alright, oh. Back there. It's safe. I wonder how far back there it is. Yeah, Witch Queen definitely had some good effects in that. Very, very primal evil, which is definitely an effect that I like to go for. No screwy freaking. I like that medieval style evil. Bones of the earth evil. Not hoopa choopa recite from the book of the ancient scroll with the ancient thing of the ancient blood can only be stopped by the ancient. I don't like that kind of evil. Bones of the earth evil, not cliche evil. Cliche evil is low grade evil. Alright. Am I even getting anything else done tonight? We were pondering. Bone charms. I have these 2 pebbles. This window gets sunlight at around 4 p.m. I will forget about these unless I put them somewhere. Like right there. They're going to fall. How about right here? Yep. That should get sunlight. And if they're still glowing in the evening, I will know they work well. Oh, God. Yep. That's the... I abhor Judeo-Christianity evil. I understand that's from Hocus Pocus, but hell, Satan, that kind of evil, oh my God. Give me a break. That kind of evil drives me nuts. So you will never, ever, ever find devil references in my haunt. Fun for the movie, though. Yeah, Hocus Pocus was a fun film. But cold day in hell, ha ha ha, when you find Judeo-Christian evil references in my stuff. Also because you never know. The neighbors, if there's anything that freaks out neighbors, it's like Satan and Judeo-Christian references. You know, you could pick some version of evil that's 100,000 times worse and throw it in your haunt. You know, you could pick... I can't think of an ancient deity off the top of my head that is worse, arguably, than Satan. But you could have something like that in glaring colors in a huge altar in your haunt, and the neighbors wouldn't say a word. You throw an upside-down pentacle and a goat on there, and an upside-down cross, and ooh, them's fighting words. Let's see here. Bone charms. Could be done. I had to do some online research for that. I still want to do the burial totems. I have those grapevine wreaths. Problem with that is I need PVC and heat guns. finished the monster bottle. Kind of looking forward to doing this witchwood lantern. I just want to do the witchwood on it. Alright, bone charms. What else could I make the crew? It would actually be useful. Spectral stuff also narrows your options too. You can't do like electronics poppers, and I wouldn't want a chainsaw in my haunt anyway, but yeah. Couldn't have one. I already have a scythe. The edge is dulled enough that nobody can hurt it. Have hay bales, have graveyards. Projections. I would love to get a cauldron creep. Bats are good. Getting them to attack, on the other hand, is a little bit more difficult. We have had, actually we still have, in one of our totes, the spinning bat, which hangs on a black line. You feed it 2 AA batteries and it spins in a circle, flapping its wings all night long. I say all night long, by which I mean about 4 hours, because that thing just drains batteries like a sieve. If I had access to the space over and above between the 2 houses, I would try to drape something down, be it spiderweb or the ever-popular bits of black thread, so you feel like you're walking through something. Let's see here. Pondering like getting gunk off the crafting table. Well, I'll have to ask Brian tomorrow night. You can have it dive bombing. You almost need somebody operating that who is at a high vantage point. And you need somebody operating that such that it will not hit anybody. Because the minute that wallops into a trick-or-treater, you run the risk of problems. I would say 9 times out of 10 around here, everybody's going to have a good-natured laugh. But that one time it whacks somebody who doesn't take it as a joke and, decides to report you to the cops, and your haunt turns into a mess very rapidly. Cool idea. Too much risk. Night, Joey. I really want Gary Fay to perfect his extendo fingers. He's been doing some amazing work with these finger extensions that you put on. It makes your hands just gigantic. The minute I see him do that and he gets some plans or makes a 3D printing widget, I am going to drop some bucks on that and get those going for costume effect. Those are going to be out of this world. And I've seen some people make them, but nobody has yet divulged a good set of plans. I have clay on these skulls. Well, I got it on the sides. The lantern will stay upright. Well, I know, Sam. We'll be doing ribbon stuff very soon. If I had access to the space between the 2 houses, I would consider doing something like that, Angela. You could even rig up a motor that kept it going, and then you'd have to you just have to illuminate it properly, which could probably be done with like a set of red eyes on every single bat. So that would be the main part, and I'd rely on ancillary illumination to take it from there. But I don't have access to the overhead area between the two houses. I've got a driveway between two and only one. Yeah, but that would be a very, very cool effect. Then you'd have that, and if you get a speaker up there and just play some chittering up top, and then everybody would look up and, you know, see all these swooping sets of red eyes. Yeah, you could make that effect float. You could make that effect float very, very well. Oh well. Bonjour, François. We're just kind of wrapping it up for the night, unfortunately. Cat, what? You see a bug over there? You must be seeing a bug over there. Wow. Wow, what? Wow. Have some laser. Woohoo! Woohoo! Football! Yeah. Well, tomorrow, hopefully this lantern will be dry. We'll clean off the outer panel. Yeah, 1:24 a.m. on the east coast of the U.S. We'll clean off the outer panel and we'll start doing witchwood in the sections. We'll see if we can connect the skull trio here, who should be completely, they should have their paper clay all hardened, so it's all set. We'll see if we can get that going. Probably be able to cut off the top, and then we'll film the staining of the witch orb. That'll be all set. After the staining of the witch orb is just the weatherproofing, draping some creepy cloth over, and then stringing, filling with fluff, light sourcing it. That's done. And then we gotta film an intro, and then I gotta spend about 2-3 days editing the whole series. Yeah. Humph. Oh well. Cat's in the bag and the silver spoon. Alright. Well, we have some projects. I need some full-size skulls to really work on them now. So, I'm going to put this back in the fridge. Hip clay back in the fridge. That's unplugged. Alexa, stop! Oh, my beautiful Dance with the Dead music can pause for the evening. And I think I need that. Tomorrow I'll go to that dollar store again. If they have the rest of their stuff out, they should have these little mini skulls, and they should have these little skeleton rice. There should be a lot more that they've got, because I don't want to start a witch bottle with just these little mini skeletons. These guys are nice, but I want to do a witch bottle whose whole point is putting stuff into the witch bottle, because that's the missing link of that video. It's alternate light sources and putting other stuff on there. I'm a good customer when they have what they say they're going to have, when they're going to have it. They were supposed to have all of the Halloween stuff was supposed to be out today. They said, okay, it's all has to be out on the 23rd. That's our deal. It all has to be out on this. I'm like, yes, 23rd, I'll be there. Well, I showed up on the 23rd at about 7 o'clock at night, 2 hours before they closed. And lo and behold, it was not all out. There were still many, many boxes that had not even been opened and put out. So I was just a little miffed. I shouldn't be too miffed because they're getting their stuff out in August, bless their hearts, but they said it would be done, and it wasn't. Rah! Yeah. Well, either way. So that's what we'll do. We'll check that out. But again, yep, I'm gaming tomorrow night, so I may not be on till late if I'm on at all. And then next week is my last week before school starts. I have Monday off, which is Labor Day. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, we have opening day conferences. And then we start school proper first day, Thursday, Friday, and then we have the weekend. And then I'm locked in course. So once school starts, I have no idea what's going to happen to my streaming. No idea whatsoever. I imagine I will probably still keep it up. At the very least, it'll be like a Friday night relax or a Saturday night relax thing. Or, Yeah, some places have definitely already started. I do know that my streaming is going to go a lot shorter once school kicks up. It's not going to be a 4-hour marathon or a 3-hour marathon. It's going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. It's going to be get on, do some project, and then, okay, guys, got to go to bed because I have kids in the morning. And I do not want to be a corpse for them. They will smell blood in the water, and I will be toast. And that will be miserable. Yes. Their promises are only worth $1, just like everything else in the store. They're not worth it. Low quality promises. So, I am going to get this stuff set up to get a fan on it. Let's get the orb down here. Man, this thing is so... No, it's not quite close enough to being dry yet. Ugh. I love it when it's at this stage. I just want to stain it and watch it all appear. Love it, love it, love it. This one feels shaky. I don't like that feels shaky. It shouldn't feel shaky at all. Probably feels shaky because the moisture is seeped into there. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything will be fine. It's okay. Shh. It's okay. Let's press that. Like that. Let's make sure that's a little wobbly too. Stupid moisture. Alright, look. How far down did I do modifications here? That far down. If I rest that on these two, is that going to screw anything up? It shouldn't. Good. Just sit there. Don't farkle up. Be good. Alright. Alright. Good. Woo! Sweet. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you very much for attending with me tonight. I really appreciate it. It's good crafting with people rather than on the lonesome. And tomorrow we shall be streaming late if we are streaming. Saturday we will be streaming because I want this Witch Orb tutorial up in September. Very, 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 very badly. So I want anybody who wants to do this project to be able to do this project. So we're going to stain this thing tomorrow or Saturday. And then we're going to seal it. We're doing all that filming. All the filming. Yep. Good stuff. The wooden look is amazing, Trav. This is fan-freaking-tastic. I can't express how beautiful this looks. The twisted wood is so gorgeous. It's good having you, Gift Boutique. I have seen all your comments, and it's always a pleasure hearing from you. And hopefully this will continue to be entertaining. Just, not always at 1:33 in the morning for me. So, have a good night, everybody. And we will catch you next time on, the Drakenfang show. We're not calling it that. No, we're not. We're totally not calling it the Drakenfang show. See y'all later. Samhain the cat. What are you doing? Yes, go craft your own pumpkins. More craftiness. Wow. Let's get a fan on this. Alexa, turn off craft light. Be dry. Come on, food ball.